Got some traffic right now. The car running second is the number 5 Daytona prototype, being driven right now by 17-year-old Colin Braun. He and Brad Coleman sharing this ride. Remember, they were the 16-year-olds at the beginning of the year that ran at Daytona the 24 hours so well in the GT class, now running second at Daytona prototype class here at VIR. You can't say enough for these two young men. Talk about a bright racing future ahead of you. You see the Auburn University stickers on that car as well. Brad Coleman really looking very hard at Auburn, and they looking very hard at him for an engineering scholarship there, but really doing well right now. Behind them, the number 7, that is not for position, Brian Sellers, with his Daytona prototype debut.
Pretty good traffic jam of race cars right here. All these, there is the Scott Pruitt car in the middle of all that.
Talk about 17-year-olds and guys that are living the dream. Let's check back in with Calvin Fish.
Well, look at this kid. He looks about 13, forget 17. Brad Coleman, tremendous job today. You and Colin having the car at the front of the pack. What does it mean to you?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, this track, I love this track. It's 30 miles away from my home. I test here sometimes, and it is a blast. It's just a blast.
How do you think Colin can hang on there? He's got a lot of pressure on him now. He's got the big guns right up his tail.
Yeah, but he's a great driver. He'll do fine. I think we're going to win this thing.
Well, they're 17, but they have a lot of maturity, Brian.
A lot of maturity and a lot of faith in each other. You heard him say, hey, I think we can win this thing. And you never know. We've seen stranger things happen. Obviously, two very, very talented young race car drivers right now. Matteo Bobby, Colin Braun, Scott Pruitt, Nick Johnson, then Elliott Forbes Robinson, or Butch Leitzinger, I should say, in the number 4 car, and then Andy Wallace. That's your top 6.
A little lock up on the tire. It was good modulation. He stayed out. Almost got in trouble there, though.
Talk about the pressure on these young men. I mean, they are running in the big leagues. Scott Pruitt looking for a way by Brian Sellers in the number 7 Tuttle Racing entry.
This is a good race, though.
Colin Braun is about to be introduced to Scott Pruitt. I know he's met him before, but he's going to meet him in the competitive setting this time. Colin doing a great job, but Pruitt saying, you're just one more car that I can put between myself and Max Angelelli, and sorry about your nice run, Colin, but I want by.
I don't know that Colin cares.
I don't think he does. We know Brad Coleman does not care. Pruitt has his work cut out for him. This is another Ford-powered machine, and it's a Crawford. We've talked about the aerodynamics of the Crawford, but Pruitt, his experience, he's going to drive it by in the braking zone. Pruitt takes over second place. 17-year-old Colin Braun dropped back to 3rd, but most importantly, Max Angelelli runs 10th. The Daytona Prototype Championship still very much in the air. Back to green flag racing. Matteo Bobby in his Ford-powered Dorn leads the field through, but Scott Pruitt right behind him. He is hungry. They want this victory, and behind them, the 17-year-old Colin Braun looking up the inside, a little brake lockup.
That's the breakup lockup I saw before. He's got a little too much rear brake bias. He's going to have to crank in a little bit more front brake if he could have felt that. Now you're riding with Andy Wallace.
Well, most of the front runners, Chris, were good on fuel, but one car that was definitely desperate on fuel was the number 5 machine. They said we're about a lap shy, but this yellow should definitely help them out. Colin Braun may be able to see that checkered flag without another stop today.
The Daytona Prototype Championship still up in the air. But Matteo Bobby gets shuffled wide. Pruitt takes over the lead. Andy Wallace goes through. Now Colin Braun all over the back of Matteo Bobby, and right behind him, the man who wants the championship, Max Angelelli.
I think Bobby carried too much speed into the Oak Tree corner and couldn't get the car to turn all the way down like he wanted. That opened up a door. Pruitt took it.
Let's check in with Chris.
Well, guys, as we heard before we went back to green there, that the SunTrust boys were lobbying hard to get around the 5 car, and the 5 car said, no way, guys. Well, also, the 2 car was lobbying hard, and I guess it helps with what kind of horse you're riding, because the 5 said, yeah, okay, guys, we'll help you out. And right when we went back to green, Andy Wallace got around that 5 car, so now he's right up behind the 0-1.
And I don't know if the 5 just moved over, if Colin moved over intentionally, or if he just got wide in the corner and got in the dirt, but he lost another position to Max Angelelli.
Well, Colin Braun may be young, but he is a very professional and very mature young man, so he did not get the run off the corner, and you heard Max Angelelli ask, just tell him not to close the door. Colin a little wide off of that corner, did not close the door. Angelelli drives by easily. And you got to give credit to Colin Braun saying, hey, I know I'm beaten here. Go ahead, Max. You're in the championship.
Man, he's showing some speed to me right now.
Thing that has been asked of them.
And
And a crash. Colin Braun.
And Butch Leitzinger's car at a 4 was involved in that too. Colin Braun in the guardrail. We're on the final lap. I don't think we'll see a car. Oh, there's debris everywhere on that.
That was a pretty big hit. What a shame. These youngsters had run as high as second. They were running fifth when the accident occurred.